welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be using the new Glamlite and Twilight Breaking Dawn palettes. I'm a bit late to the game with these because they came out for a while and they've been on my list of stuff I want to do so badly. I just didn't have the time. But these are so incredible. This is like, the fact that Glamlite went this all out with the Twilight collection is crazy. And obviously I got both the Team Jacob and Team Edward palettes, even though I really don't like Edward. I've always been Team Jacob, and I'll probably use more of his palette, but I haven't actually seen the color story, so I am very curious to get in with this. Their full collection, I don't know if it's still available, I'm assuming it is, but they even have like a dupe for the one size glitter setting spray, where it's like, it just sprays the glitter directly on, and that thing sold out so quickly. I don't even know if I ever saw it in stock, because when I went on it, they had this, they had everything else except for that, and then the lip kit. Those were gone immediately. Open the Team Edward one. I'm going to do the most boring one first, but on the back it says Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 with Glamlite, Team Edward for Face and Body Palette. This channel the immortal allure of Edward Cullen with the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 x Glamlite Team Edward palette. Inspired by the timeless romance and mystery of the film, this 15-shade collection blends sultry red and enigmatic grays in complementary muted tones, perfectly capturing Edward's brooding elegance and unfiltering devotion to Bella. That is very interesting. Each shade is crafted with highly pigmented, velvety formulas that glide on effortlessly, allowing you to create looks as mesmerizing as Edward's golden eyes. Whether you're crafting a bold, dramatic, or a soft, romantic look, this palette will have you sparkling like a vampire in sunlight. That is very cute, but this is what I was impressed with. This is not the palette. You have to open this up, and then it's like a box, and that's the palette. And it's that lenticular motion palette cover that Glamlite does, but this is like a whole mini PR box in and of itself. So I thought that was crazy. It says, no measure of time with you will be long enough, but let's start with forever. And that is a quote from Edward that I honestly don't care about because I don't like Breaking Dawn Part 1. Here's the palette though. You can see the two different pictures they have on the lenticular motion cover, even the back. Then here we have the shades. I like the mirror and the picture of Edward, and all of those shades look really pretty. This is definitely giving shockingly colorful. I didn't expect them to have like a lilac shade, and then there's like a blue shade, a purple. Like, that's actually a lot more color than I was expecting. Oh my god, these colors are so pretty. I'm like, maybe I wonder if the Jacob one will be very muted and neutral then, which will kind of be sad because I like the colorful ones more. But then here we have the Team Jacob palette. This is the one I knew I was getting instantly. It says, embrace the raw, untamed spirit of Jacob Black with the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 x Glamlite, a tribute to the rugged warmth and earthy tones, so they're definitely doing neutral for this one, of the film. This 15-shade collection offers a rich array of neutral and earthy hues, perfectly reflecting Jacob's connection to nature and his wolf lineage. This deeply pigmented blendable formula makes it easy to create versatile looks, from natural daytime styles to smoldering, fierce evening glamour. Unleash your inner wolf and let your beauty shine with the passion of the iconic wolf pack. This is very interesting. I guess it makes sense to go with earth tones for Jacob, but I don't really understand the colorful ones for Edward then. Oh, what was more exciting is that in this box, when you open it, I like this one better because you have two very distinct images and they both look so good. It's also Taylor Lautner, but they do look so good. And then obviously you have the Twilight Breaking Dawn, and like, these are not paper, like these are actual plastic material, which is crazy. Here's the back of the palette, and then voila, this is very pretty. That picture, so good. I love this design. Honestly, these shades also have more color than I thought. It does have more of an earthy hue to it, but I really thought it'd be neutrals, and there's some shimmers in here. They have orange, they have green, they even have like a silvery gold one, like it seems like a duochrome almost. There's actually a lot more color. For Breaking Dawn Part 1, which is like the depressing movie, I expected like no color. But so now let me see, what look do we want to create? I want to use both of the palettes. I think I'll do one on each eye, just so I get to use both, and I want to see how different the looks will turn out. Let's start with the Team Jacob one. I like the wolf design, that's really cute. I'm gonna do this on the left eye. That phasing shade is making me so curious because it looks white, but in person it looks more lilac, a really ashy lilac, and I'm scared that that pigment is not going to show up, but I'm really tempted to use it. The eyes are already prepped with concealer. I just need to set it down. So in the Jacob palette, I will go in with the shade, I think Pack is probably the best one. It's not too dark, and I'll just use that to set the concealer underneath so it doesn't crease too much. Very light pigment. I can't tell if it's like that similar to my skin tone. Very light pigment. I'm not seeing too much fallout either, so that's nice, at least on the matte shades. I'm gonna go in with the shade literally called Jacob. It's just this one right here. It's like a deeper taupey brown, and I'm just gonna use this as like the crease shade and put that all over. It definitely has pigment. It just doesn't pick up on this brush too well because I'm almost trying to use it just as like a bronzer that I would, like how I would use a bronzer, and I feel like it's just not picking up that pigment. It's getting there. You have to build it up. I definitely think you have to build it up. It's not an ultra pigmented. It's more of a, I feel like it's a very hourglassy, subtle powder. I wish they had a deeper brown, but they only have a gray and a black. I don't want to do the gray because I'm scared it would get too cool tone, so I think I'm going to go full smoky on this look and use this Devotion black shade, not as a liner, as literally the, like, outer third shade. I have a vision. We'll see if it comes together. It could very well fail because this is a very interesting palette. This black, ultra pigmented. Like, this is very, very pigmented. How did they make this one and then that brown one felt nothing? Like, this is crazy. There is a little bit of fallout. I'm cleaning it up with a powder, but there is definitely a lot of fallout, and it's noticeable with the black. I'm just gonna blend that black into the brown, taking more of the Jacob shade because that is too pigmented. I need to tone it down. Well, it's definitely giving smoky. I'm thinking there's not a lot of matte shades in here. I guess I could, oh, I didn't even see this shade. La Push is the shade. This is a deep brown. That makes sense. But it does have a little bit of purple to it, but that would definitely be the shade I should have used in the inner corner. But I'm just going to keep going. I think, honestly, I'm going to go in with phasing. We'll see how this goes because it is very light. But I'm curious if it would make a good crease shade just to cut everything. On the brush, it is picking up a nice amount. So hopefully that means it will show up. Ooh, this one is very powdery. This one is going to have a ton of fallout. You have to tap this one off. This is a very powdery formula, but it is pigmented, so I think that's how they got it to be pigmented. It almost looks white on my skin tone, which I did not expect. I thought it was going to lean more towards purple. Like, for a crease lilac shade, that's doing wonders. This is, like, that's impressive. I really am shocked with this shade. I feel like this is definitely giving, like, moon vibes with the white and the black. I didn't expect it to be this white, so unexpectedly I kind of created a moon design, which I'm not going to complain because it is looking really pretty. It's just, I don't know if there's enough shimmers to go with this design. I'm just going to adapt. I put in a little bit more of the black, and then I'll blend the white in. This one kind of reminds me of the Ghostface palette that they released. I think it was either last year or the year before. That one, very similar because it also had the whites, the blacks, the cool tone, and then very random sparkle shades like this green and orange. Like, it reminds me of that. I feel like they got it right with the mattes, but then with the shimmers, they just didn't know what to add, so they went in with a bunch of random shades. Like, it's looking pretty. I got it to blend out. I honestly think I might just keep the smoky, like, outer third, because I think it's looking a little bit better than when I blend it in with the white, so I'm just gonna reapply and leave it a little bit more unblended than I normally would, because I think it's helping the contrast with the white. But now for the shimmers. Now this is complicated because I could go in with Moody, which is like that silver shimmer, or I could go in even with Imprint, which looks a little bit more of an intense shimmer. I don't want to go in with the color ones, even though they're so pretty. I don't know. Alpha and Telepathy and Shapeshifter all look so pretty. Alpha's this one, Telepathy and Shapeshifter. It's just they don't go with this look right now, so I'm going to use... I can't tell. I think I'm going to do Moody because it's just silver. It will go with the white a little bit more. Glamlite shimmers are incredible. You just have to use your hand and they will have fallout. So just a warning. I would always recommend going up like this. I'm not going to do it now just because I have to hold the palette, but that is always how I'd recommend Glamlite shimmers. They are pigmented though, like they are gorgeous. I also love how this is not turning blue. This is pure silver. The last silver they had in the Ghostface one was like a blue duochrome, and I did not like it because it would mess up every look. When I tried to create this, it would turn blue, and I don't even know how it managed to turn blue because it was a silver shadow. I'm gonna build up the black just because I don't want it to be too much of the silver. I do want that black to come through in the outer third. Even bring the black over so it goes kind of over that silver, and that way it doesn't take away and it just adds a little bit more of a pop. And then I think I'm gonna do somewhat of a halo eye, but not really, with Imprint, which is the more intense silver. It looks like it could lean a little bit more green, so I'm scared, but it will add a lot of dimension. So I'm gonna put it just in the center. A little bit green, but it kind of works. It does kind of work because it's leaning more silver. I'm just going to clean some of it up with concealer, especially because it's a black. It's like a smoky eye. I've got to give it up for Glamlite shimmers though. That they have a unique sparkle to them. It's not even like the shimmer formula. The way they sparkle, it's just so pretty. This is such a pretty look. It's just so unlike anything I do. Like I'm normally color, so to do a neutral, well not neutral, it's definitely not neutral, but to do like a moon look, very unusual for me, but it's pretty. I really like it. I'm curious to go with the color shades next. I'll discuss my final thoughts on the palettes after I do the Edward one, but it's a very, very unique palette, I think. But now I'm gonna go in with Edward, which this one is color. Like this one has the shimmer white. This would have looked so good with that moon shade, but there's like 3 neutral shades and everything else is color or black. So I'm curious. I wonder why they put 2 blacks, because they put Forks in here and then Jacob's also had a black. I think they could have made it a little bit more versatile, because honestly, this one's gonna be really hard to create a look that's not insane. Because they don't have any of the colors that, like, the neutral colors that you need. Like, they have a silver matte, they have this really cool toned blue matte, they have reds, purples, blues, and then they have the Forks. And I feel like they just need, well, they do have Lion, which is like a lilac pink, but they just need 1 neutral shade. Because now I'm like, I guess I'll just set this eye with the same thing that I used from the Jacob palette, because they don't really have a neutral one. So I just want to make sure that concealer that I used as like the primer is set down. Let me decide on a look for this, because this is a hard one. These are not palettes for beginners. Like, if you don't know anything about makeup and you're just getting these for Twilight, these would be really hard to create looks with. I think I'm gonna go with blue. My fear is it will look too much like the Jacob one, but I'm gonna try my best to go in with the lighter blues and hope that it adds color. But I feel like that's probably the best route. I might add some red, but definitely I think I'm gonna go with blue. I'll start with the shade Gifted, kind of just above the eyelid as like a background shade. It even has like the embossment in it of Edward's head. I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but that's really cool. The theming and the branding behind this idea it was great. ColourPop did like their New Moon one, and I do really like that palette and that collection, but the Glamlite like killed them with this launch, because they went so out with the Twilight theme and with the packaging and the products that I don't think ColourPop could have possibly competed with that. Wait, why is it looking black? It's so cool tone that it's looking too black and it's looking identical to the Jacob one, and I'm gonna have to really rely on those shimmers. This one I'm actually just gonna cut it with the tissue, just because I want to make sure it's not turning too blue or too gray or too black, because that's kind of what it's looking like right now, so I'm just gonna wipe it off. It is pretty. It's a very pretty shade. I'm gonna do red then. I'm gonna go in with the blue and red. In that case, I'll probably go in with the Voltairy as the crease shade, which is this very deep red, so I'm hoping it looks red, but I think this will just give a nice contrast. And this will make sure it doesn't look like the Jacob side then, because his side has like no color. Sorry, someone's like banging on the ceiling, and it's every time I'm doing the eyeshadow so carefully, it's like startling me. This is also a very cool toned red though. Just a warning, this whole palette, very, very cool tone. Like this red, it is not a brick red at all. It's maroon. I think the shimmer will fix it, but I would definitely be quite careful. I'm gonna take the blue and just kind of blend those 2 shades together. I mean, the mattes came together really nice. It's definitely very deep, and it's hard to tell. I hope the light is showing the colors better than it's showing like in person, but there's a difference, but it's just they're very close together with the intensity, so that's why the red, I feel like I might want to build it up, but I'm scared it will get too deep then and it will turn pink. What I could do actually is go in with a little bit of that Lion shade, which is the bright pink, and that will either make or break this look, but either way I think it could fix it. Okay, yeah, that actually worked, because it's making it look more of a brighter pink warm toned red, and that's kind of what I wanted. For shimmers, I think I'm just gonna go in with red and go in with the Edward red shimmer, and maybe I'll add a little bit of blue in the inner corner. I just feel like I need this deep red to really brighten up the look. And this is more of a warm toned satin shade, that's why I do think this is gonna help. Oh yeah, I really like this shade. This is Vampire Red. That's really, really pretty shade. This is like what I thought most of the palette would be like, so I'm very happy to have this one shade in there. And look at how gorgeous of a shade that is. Like the way it blends, you have to use your hand because it is a shimmer satin shade, but when it blends in, like it's so pretty. And with the blue against it, it's giving such a gorgeous backdrop. I don't want to add green because Jacobs has green. I think I'm just gonna go in with this blue shimmer Honeymoon and do that in the inner corner. It's really pretty. This is a very bright blue, and I'm just gonna pop a little bit in. This might sound crazy. What if I do a halo eye on Edward's side? What if I do a red and blue halo eye. That could, because there already is that tone, and I'm like, it might make sense. So actually what I'll do, I'm gonna go with Renesmee, which is a pinkier blue, but it still is a blue, and I'm gonna use this on the other side to complete the halo eye, because I think this could be really pretty. Wait, I love this. This is so pretty. It's the Glamlite shimmers. They're always what makes the palette be like 10s. Like the mattes are fine. These shimmers, they're so pretty. The glitter in them, there's just something about it. Like that is so pretty. I love the halo eye. In fact, I think I'm hesitant to do it, but I honestly just want to try. I'm going to go in with a little bit of Edward, which is this silver shade. It's a very bright, glittery silver shade, and do it in inner corner. Because I think this has a little bit of blue too. Oh, that is so pretty. That does have a... It's almost like a duochrome blue. That is exactly what I was hoping it'd be. I really love those shades. That is so pretty. Let me clean it up with concealer, and then I'll be back with, like, final thoughts. Here's the Jacob side, and here's the Edward side. I'm gonna go finish my makeup, and then we'll see which one I like better. Okay, so I just did the rest of my makeup. I used the highlighter from this collection also, which was stunning. But I have my final thoughts on these eyeshadow palettes after the look came together. I definitely shockingly like the Jacob side better. And I'm not shockingly in that I'm not Team Jacob, because I always obviously would like Jacob's better, but in terms of just the eye look, this one is giving more Twilight, and it gives more on theme for Jacob. This palette needs to grow on me. But I thought I would hate it. And mostly the look I created, it is so nice, and I think there's so much potential for different looks. I do really like how this one has a pop of neutral shades, but it does have a little bit of the color. So I feel like it's very versatile. You could get anything, just like it says on the back. You could get the earthy tones, the woodsy, neutral tones, but there is a pop of like green, orange, blue, that's like a teal shade. Like there's a lot you can do with this. So I like this for the versatility, and even without the versatility, with just this black and white moon look, turned out stunning. I think this is very eye-catching. On the other side, we have Team Edward, which I'm sad to say don't like as much. I think the palette in general seems more lackluster to me. And I like the red. I was able to do the red and blue mix. I just don't think it screams Edward to me, if that makes sense. And they only have one red shade, which, like, for a vampire palette, I'd expect a little bit more versatility with the reds, because they really went all in with the purples and blues, which I get it's like wedding, you know, love, but like they needed more reds in this. They only have a maroon matte and then one red shimmer, and that red shimmer carried this look. So I've got to say that's my biggest issue with it. Also, like, some of the shades just don't make sense in the color story and the theming. Like, there's a random like matte lilac lion, there's a random matte gray bite, and then there's like a random matte black, which I feel like none of them scream Jacob to me. So it's very strange. Sorry, none of them scream Edward to me. They do scream Jacob. I feel like they didn't know how to make a palette, and they just kind of took color and deep toned looks and made it into a palette. And it's very difficult to get a look that would be very coherent with all of these. Like, they would not be cohesive at all. I do like the look I created. I think the blues and the reds go together. I just wish the blues were a little bit lighter, and they actually don't have a light blue. They have vegetarian. It looks a little bit more blue in person, but it's pretty green. Like, it's actually more of a green shade. And yeah, I feel like if I was gravitating towards a palette, I would probably lean more towards the Jacob one, because I know it's very versatile and I could get a lot of looks, versus the Edward. If I want a shimmer or a specific, well, there's no mattes in here really, but if I wanted the specific shimmer shade, I'd go in with it, but I wouldn't create a whole look if I had the option between these two, versus this one I definitely would. So overall, Team Jacob won this one. That's taking out my bias. I do think he won with this palette. I think Edward, I just don't like it as much. They're both fine. Formulas, 10 out of 10. Glamlite's very good with shimmers. Mattes are a little bit dry and too much fallout, but the glitters and shimmers and satin shades, Glamlite kills it with those. So the formulas are not the issue. It's really just the color story. But that's kind of my first impression reviews on these Breaking Dawn Part 1 palettes and the collection. I do think Glamlite did a great job. I'm excited to see if they ever do a Breaking Dawn Part 2, or if they go further in with Twilight. I don't think they can do any other movies after, because I think ColourPop is probably going to do like Eclipse right after. So I'm curious what they'll do there, but yeah, it'll be very interesting. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts, or if you have these palettes, which one you like better, and any tips on how to use the Edward one, because I don't like it. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I will see y'all later.